Hello, I'm about to tell you how to write your persuasive essay. So this is the essay about the CCP educational system, and it's a persuasive essay, which means that you are trying to convince your reader of your point of view. So in 099, we looked at some samples of the educational system essays that were created by other Community College of Philadelphia students. And now we're going to go over how you do one of these essays. What's the structure like? And good news is that the structure is in fact extremely similar to the analytical essay structure. So there's only one part that's different, and we're going to go over that part together. And again, this is a structure for you to help you to know how to write the essay. And again, it's not meant as a straitjacket, but it is meant to give you some structure so that you know what to put where in your essay about improving the CCP educational system. Some good news about this essay is that this essay will be presented to the Community College of Philadelphia administration. So student essays from my classes over time have been presented, and they have created some real good change in the institution. So your audience will be beyond me, as long as you give me permission for that. And it can really impact some really good changes at Community College of Philadelphia. So that said, in your book, and we are on page 119 of the Word document format of the book. So again, if you're using the PDF format, it might be slightly different, but 119 of the Word document format of the book, you can either follow along in your book or just look at the screen here. And so here's the persuasive essay writing acronym, again, to help you to remember how to write the essay. So if you'll recall, this is the introduction of a persuasive essay, and the only difference here is that rather than it being bit, remember that the analytical essay was bit, tell, rest. Well, this one has a C in it, so CT, tell, rest. Not as much of a ring to it, but that one extra detail is going to be start with the letter C. So what you're going to do in your essay is to start with the contradiction. So you're actually going to start your essay with what the opposite side thinks. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the world would I want to start with what the other people think? This is an essay about what I think, not about what other people think. So why am I starting with what other people think? Why do you think? Take a minute. All right, I'm going to tell you my perspective on this. So the reason why you would start with the opposite side is that you're not necessarily trying to convince people who are already on your side. You want to show the other side that you thought about their perspective before you go into your own perspective. It's the same principle that would apply if you're trying to get a friend to go out with you. Go out to a party or something, not necessarily a date, but to go out to a party, right? And your friend says, I gotta study, I don't want to go. If you just say, come on, go, what's wrong with you? That might work for some, but if you say, hey, I know you have to study, and I know you're really stressed about school, but I think coming to this party might help to relieve your stress. That means that you really showed your audience that you understood what their perspective was before trying to convince them of your perspective. So that's what the contradiction is. So you're thinking, okay, well, how does that apply to my essay about the educational system? I'm going to tell you. So here we have contradiction, what the opposite side thinks and why. So you might start with something like, if you're writing an essay about the CCP educational system and you want to talk about elements that can be improved, you can either talk about things that are great already or elements that you'd like to see improved. So you could start like this. Some students feel that Community College of Philadelphia, you can put CCP in parentheses if you're going to then refer to it as CCP throughout the essay, or you can always write it out. Some students feel that Community College of Philadelphia is already an amazing school. The tuition is low, right? Teachers tend to spend time with students, and and there are many clubs and activities at this school. Okay. So we've given the reason why some people might like CCP. Then what you're going to do, you're headed towards your thesis statement, right? And you can expand on this if you want. You can write several sentences about maybe you are going to talk about your friend Mary explained how the tuition really helped her to still have money to support her kids. Or maybe you're going to say that your teacher in your 017 class really spent extra time with you in his or her office. You can expand on the contradiction, say more about why people think CCP is great already, right? And then you're going to give your thesis statement. So however, and this word however is really important. If you don't use it or a word like it, then your reader is going to think you've gone crazy, because you're going to say basically CCP is great and it's not great. Like, there's not going to be a contradiction. There's not going to be the twist to the opposite perspective. So your reader's going to be totally confused about what you're talking about. Okay? So you're going to say, however, and then you can say something like CCP can be improved with regard to parking, communication with new students, and developmental education. Okay, that could be your first paragraph. If you want to get fancier, what you can do in your contradiction is actually address each of these points. So you can say why some people think parking is already okay, why some people feel that communication is already okay, and why people think developmental education is totally fine at CCP. So if what I just said didn't make sense, fine. You do it exactly like this here. But if you are looking for an extra challenge, you can make your contradiction really specific to the points that you're arguing here by talking about how people maybe already are okay with parking, already are okay with communication, etc., so that you're really targeting what your audience might think about your points. Right? So you can do it either way. And that length of a paragraph is totally fine. You saw the samples are of varying lengths. I would say this is the minimum that you'd want to do. And obviously, when it's time, you in your draft, you can leave like the C here and the T for the thesis statement. This is our thesis statement right here, so we'd want to move it to the right spot at least. Yeah. So, or you can just do the draft and indent. Remember, this whole piece is one paragraph, okay? And when you're writing the essay itself, you're going to take out the word contradiction and the word thesis statement, obviously, and that will be your first paragraph. So your first paragraph would read, some students feel that Community College of Philadelphia is already an amazing school. The tuition is low, teachers tend to spend time with students, and there are many clubs and activities at the school. However, CCP can be improved with regard to parking, communication with new students, and developmental education. So there's your three-part thesis, and you're going to talk about the ways that CCP can be improved with these topics. Okay? So then it's really just like the other essay. So your first topic sentence is going to say, CCP would be a much better school if there were more affordable parking. Okay, and what does that come from? Okay, your opinion, right, is CCP would be a much better school. Okay, we've got your opinion, and we're going to make it yellow so that it looks like, what's in parentheses here. That's your opinion, and then mention of your first example. If there were more affordable parking. Okay, so here we had with regard to parking, right, and then we have if there were more affordable parking. So we've actually added, your topic sentence has to both have your opinion and the example you're going to talk about. Then it becomes very easy, right? Then you're just going to explain your point about affordable parking. Have you had an experience with parking where you weren't able to get to class because you couldn't afford to park, or the lot was filled, or, you know, do you take public transportation because you feel like parking is not good at CCP? if you're using this example, you want to draw from your personal experience or the experiences of others you've observed. Okay? So you do that, and then you can probably guess what goes in the next paragraph. It's just like your last essay. So you're going to put your opinion. CCP can be improved with regard to, right? And then we have communication with new students. And then you would explain how communication could be improved at CCP. And then, once again, in each body paragraph, you're going to link to the thesis, which means that you're going to remind us of your overall point. In this case, it's that whatever you just said would make CCP a better school. Okay? And then in your next paragraph, you're perhaps going to talk about the developmental education using a quotation sandwich. And there's another video and another assignment that's going to help you to achieve that quotation sandwich. So you don't need to worry about how to do that yet. It really is the same format, and I'll tell you more about it soon. But you can say, again, CCP can be improved with regard to its developmental education classes. And then your example might be a quotation from a classmate or a quotation from one of the articles that you read in this unit that is going to prove your point. Okay, and again, you link to the thesis at the end. You remind us of your overall point. And then your conclusion is just the same as your technology essay. You're going to restate your thesis, emphasize the examples that you felt were the most strong that you want people to remember. You're going to give something for the reader to think about, and then you're going to tie your essay all together. Once again, if you have any questions about how to write this essay, please let me know. I would suggest watching this video a couple of times. It can be a lot to wrap your head around, so just make sure you understand before you take the video quiz and then before you begin writing your paper about the educational system. Thanks.